Hi folks, welcome back to the Horde. So, just under 40 degrees. Sun's not on the solar panels there, very overcast. And 2.8 centigrade. It's about 3:15. So, I'll be wrapping it up before too long. 38 degrees. I don't know, could you guys see that? Anyway, take my word for it, 38, same as that one. So, my wife's making Christmas cookies and listening to Christmas music. So every 10 minutes I go upstairs and eat Christmas cookies and brownies and other such things. So I've had enough sugar today that I'm basically wired for sound, but we'll let that pass. I've put some more time into drilling the shaft on that engine I showed you on the last video. The last video I was using an 1/8 inch bit just to kind of make a pilot hole rather than try to jam the whole bit in there at once. The bolt I fit to the engine was 5/16. So when you want to tap a 5/16 bolt, you use 17/64. So it turns out I had exactly the right bit, and I got enough packages drilled all around the house. So I drilled it first with the 1/8 inch as a pilot hole. Then I went back and drilled it out with the 17/64. And here we are. It's on there. Let me grab a flashlight so I can show you well. So there it is. Right. Drilled, centered, lock washers, tightened up nice and tight. And I cleaned the points. What I used, I just have a flat file. And then I use a little starting fluid and a real clean tissue or cloth to make sure the points are clean. So that's all done. And you guys see it sparking. Pretty cool, huh? Briggs Spark. The other thing I did, you might notice it's turning a little smaller. This thing actually has 2 motors in it. It's got that one down there to turn the lathe, and then this one up here for the milling machine. And it was in second gear, so to speak. So what I did is I slid it over to first gear. Not until after I drilled it. This thing's also interesting. It's got a basically an emo switch if you let this go, or an interlock, a door interlock, which is good. It also has an emergency off, right, just in case you torture yourself. This thing here, I thought it was for controlling speed of that. No, it is not. It's for controlling speed of the drive, right? You can engage the drive here. You see the worm screw, and all those gears are also for the drive, for setting different pitches, for cutting threads or anything like that. I'm probably never going to do that, but I'm glad that I got this in the lower speed. I typically like to cut kind of slow. So, you know, this project has been a good project for a couple of reasons. I was a moron for breaking this bolt off, right? That was my fault. I used an impact wrench to turn it in the wrong direction, and I snapped the crank. That simple. That was just stupid. But the outcome of that was I got my lathe unpacked, undrilled, ready to go. Right, so now this thing is set. I could walk up to it and use it. Right, I got nothing in front of it. That's a good thing. I consolidated that whole mess that was in front of the lathe to this cube here. I had that extra water tank that I got out. So just making more room in the shop, making the shop more functional. Just also to give you an idea of what tools I used for this. I mean, I had to use everything from ratchets to put the bolt on, lights to find everything I dropped, mayonnaise jar, but it's made out of glass, not that smart. To get the pulley off the shaft, right, that was driving the belt. First I used a brass hammer, then I had to go get a puller to take that off, right. For drilling, I used an 1/8 inch bit, and then I used a 17/64. Had to take out taps, right. I used 2 of them. I used, I don't know, they call those 2 flutes or whatever, 2 set of cutters. And then I used the 3 set of cutters to that goes a little deeper here, right. This is kind of good for the initial cut because there's a lot of room for the debris of cutting, right. And then to make sure you get threads all the way to the bottom, use the 3 flute. Less space for debris, but cuts nicely. So how to use that? Obviously the lathe with all the extra attachments, right? Wrenches. I mean, just so much to make this whole project go. I feel good that I was able to dig it out and make it happen. I bought these, are part of a Machinist set that I bought. There was this guy, smoked cigars, Jewish fellow I think, who lived on Long Island, and he used to visit friends up by the old Maybrook Flea Market, just for a story. And he used to work back on Long Island in days of World War II. They used to have airplane factories down there, and there was a lot of government work, even through the 80s. Fairchild, as a matter of fact, the airport used to be known. Fairchild had their own airport for testing stuff, Grumman, and all that. So he used to work as a machinist, and this was his machinist box. And I bought it from him back then for $150. Excuse the mess here. So I'm trying not to cast a shadow, trying to get light in here at the same time. Anyway, this machinist box came loaded with bits and taps. Right, can you see the taps in there? I hope. And so I bought it from him, and I kept it exactly intact. I'm always very careful that whatever I take out of it to put right back in, because I figure I'll never get my hands on a working toolbox, machinist toolbox like that again. And what makes it handy when I have a machinist type problem to work on, a lot of times I'll just go through the box and see what tools he has in there, and I'm able to figure things out by the type of tools he has, right? I mean, he was actually a machinist. He seemed to be doing a lot of drilling and tapping. There are some sheet metal tools in there, a lot of measurement, a lot of really good drill bits for drilling. He seemed to stick with certain sizes, and obviously everything is SAE, but he it was nice to be able to get the toolbox intact. It was nice to be able to get the story with the toolbox. I probably bought that, over 20 years ago, and he was no young man when he sold it, right? He was probably in his 60s when he sold it. So if he's still alive, he's 85, 90. So my guess is he's probably not, especially he didn't look exceptionally healthy back then, and he used to smoke cigars like cigarettes, so normally that's not good for living a long life. But I do use his tools, and when I do, I kind of think of the old guy, which is kind of cool, I guess. Alright folks, I don't know if I think I'm going to put that engine on here and try to fire it up, and then I'll be able to make a test video, which is, I think there's going to be, in the generator series, there's going to be this kind of a distractible generator, I don't know, a toy. I would like to use, get one of these guys fired up. This is basically one of those Briggs and Strattons spinning a generator head. There's a few different ones there, but I'd like to get one of those fired up and see what it looks like, what the wave, what the frequency and voltage regulation looks like, and then I'd like to make a conclusion video, given that I doubt this thing is going to do as well as the inverter, and I doubt this thing is going to do as well as the China one. Okay, this I anticipate being a little better than that guy. We'll see. These guys here, when I get one of them fired up and we test it, I figure it's going to be about where the Generac is. And not wanting to tilt my cards for my conclusion, but if I had to guess what the conclusion is going to be, if you just want to spend $300 on a generator that has 110 and 220 and you can run your lights and all the other crap with it, because I normally do, I'd probably buy one of the Predator 4,000 watt guys. Just a cheap piece of crap to run what you basically need to run on. If I had enough money for two generators, I would probably buy the Generac guy, bigger than this, and for the well and all the other crap, and furnace, well, all that kind of stuff. And then I would probably buy an inverter to go with it, have the inverter running the gentle electronics in the house, and having the brute, or even one of these China ones, running everything else. Because for electronics, the inverter is definitely a lot cleaner, a lot better, and so forth. And the brute, depending how many watts you could afford on the brute, is definitely better for starting them big loads. Okay folks, thank you for watching and commenting and subscribing. Remember to keep your feet down, keep your head up, and we'll catch up with you for the next episode of The Horde. Till then, remember to enjoy all your days, and Christmas is coming, so remember, typically you get out of the holidays what you put in. If you know somebody needs something and you help them get it, if you're kind to somebody who's, not having the greatest time through the holidays, normally that comes back, and it normally comes back tenfold. So, been my experience. So, if you see something that's hurting a little bit, and you slip them a few bucks, just try not to remember it too much. But then when it comes back tenfold, smile, because, that's your payback. It always comes back. All right, folks. Take care now. Bye.